want to talk about how to spot and manage manipulative behavior like a pro and without losing your cool. So have you ever had that feeling where something just feels off in a conversation, but you can't quite put your finger on it? Maybe a colleague sweet talks you into taking just one more task on that wasn't yours to begin with. Or a friend keeps twisting things until you're the one apologizing for something that they actually did, right? If that sounds familiar, you might be just tangoing with manipulation. So don't worry, you're not alone. We've all been there. I've been there way too many times. And according to research done by Dr. George Simon, an expert in covert aggression, manipulative behavior often flies under the radar because it's designed to confuse, to guilt trip, and to pressure you into compliance, believe it or not. And guess what? It works more often than we would like to admit. But fear not. Today we're going to dive into how can we spot this manipulative behavior dead on and manage it like a pro without turning into a detective or losing your cool. So step number one is you want to recognize the red flags early. So if you know what those red flags are, then you can call them out as they're coming forward to you. Manipulation comes in so many different flavors, and some of them are really sneaky. So you have to have your guard up all the time. Here's some things to watch for. First and foremost, those guilt trips, and we've all been there. Sometimes we push them off on some people as well, if we're honest with ourselves. But if you really, some people would say like, if you really cared about me, you'd do this, right? So does that sound familiar? I hear a lot from many different people. And when I read this list, I was really thinking about some specific people that use this all of the time. So those statements like, if you really cared about me, you'd do this. Guilt is a manipulator's favorite weapon. Research shows that people who feel guilty are more likely to comply with requests, even if they're unreasonable, believe it or not. So how about that? But I think if we thought back of some people that really throw these guilt trips and how we reacted, I think we're just right in line with that. Another area is gaslighting. So they might say something like, are you sure that happened? I think you're overreacting. And it hits you hard. Sometimes it really aggravates you and makes you frustrated, right? This classic technique makes you doubt your own reality. And a 2022 study in Psychology Today found that gaslighting can erode self-confidence over time, making it easier for manipulators to stay in control. A third area is playing the victim. So we know these people that they not only guilt trip you, they gaslight you with their comments, but they're also victims of everything, right? They might say something like, I can't believe that you do this to me after everything that I've done for you. I know too many people that talk like that. Emotional manipulation often hinges on making you feel responsible for someone else's emotions. So they're the people that they're always the victim, but they're always the finger pointers, or they're the ones that make you feel like you've caused them to feel a certain way or experience a certain thing. So if you are a victim and you play a victim, stop doing that. And another area is excessive flattery or gifts. So this is like love bombing in a sense. They might say things like, wow, you're amazing. I don't know what I'd ever do without you. Sounds sweet, but sometimes it's a bait to lower your guard. So I think that sometimes it's hard at first, especially when you're first getting to know someone, whether they're genuine when they say that or they're trying to get you to take the bait. So you always have to be on your guard and cautious about that. Now, we all know friends of ours, the people that are cheering us on, they know that they truly mean it. But there's those out there that they sound amazing, or you're starting to date someone and, it's all amazing that first couple weeks or month that you're together. And then the truth starts to leach out, right? But studies show that reciprocity bias, it makes people feel obligated to return favors, even if they didn't ask for them. So that reciprocity feeling that we get just, I think, naturally, someone gives you something, you feel like, wow, I want to do something in return for them, for what they did for me, right? Sometimes that's the bait, so keep your guard. Step number 2 is, let's figure out, why do we fall for it in the first place, and how can we make it stop? So we're wired to connect and cooperate, just in general, which makes us prime targets for manipulation. Psychologists suggest that our brains are naturally inclined to seek social harmony, making us more likely to go along with others to avoid conflict. So we're all trying to get out of conflict situations, so sometimes we fall for things a little easier just because of that. But here's the kicker. Saying yes too often, it chips away at our boundaries. And we talk a lot about boundaries on this channel because whether it's somebody that's crazy, somebody that's a narcissist, someone who is just kind, loving, maybe your spouse, we all need boundaries because we all have goals, we all have things we need to do. But weighing in on connecting and the cooperation, avoiding conflict, it often chips away at that. So how do we break free from this cycle? You're going to want to set clear boundaries. When you feel that tug of guilt or pressure, pause and ask yourself, is this something I genuinely want to do, first and foremost, and am I acting out of obligation or fear? So practice using, if I can get this out, practice using phrases like, I'll need to think about that, or I'm not comfortable with that, or something like, no, that doesn't work for me. So you might want to watch out for some emotional extremes as well. If someone's reaction feels overly intense, like you could tell, it's just like you feel like even they have like this different energy about them. It's maybe they're either super complimentary or they're ridiculously offended. It might be manipulation in disguise. So maintain a neutral and calm tone and stick to the facts. Even if you have to walk away, say that you're busy, say that you have a meeting or something, and then come back at it, take your time to really think through those. Step number 3 is take back control without the drama. So now that you know the signs, it's time to flip the script here. So here's how. You're going to want to stay calm and stay firm. And that's really tough sometimes, especially when emotions run high. Because manipulators, they thrive on emotional reactions. Staying composed disarms their tactics. If they escalate, don't engage. Stick to your boundaries and repeat your stance. And you may want to call it out subtly. If you feel comfortable enough, acknowledge the behavior. Try something like saying, I notice you're bringing up a past experience or a past favor. Let's focus on the issue at hand. Or saying something like, it sounds like you're really upset, but I'd like to stick with what we're discussing. Bam. Then you're putting the conversation in the direction that you want to go instead of getting sucked into being potentially aggravated, annoyed, frustrated, and emotional. And try the broken record technique. So when a manipulator won't take no for an answer, repeat your boundary calmly and consistently. It sends a clear message that you're not budging. Because they will try with saying, won't take no for an answer, and they're pushing you hard and they think they'll get a different response from you if they keep pushing, right? but stick to your boundaries and do it calmly, because if you're showing that emotion, they will go after that. So there's a lot of power in awareness. And why does it pay off? Did you know that 85% of people who practice assertiveness report feeling more confident and in control in difficult conversations? And that came from the American Psychological Association in a 2023 study. But by recognizing manipulation and responding effectively, you, yes, you, can reclaim your power and protect your time and your mental space. And the best part is you don't have to sacrifice kindness or empathy to do it. So here's your challenge. You want to spot it, you want to name it, and you want to reclaim it. This week, pay attention to situations where you might feel pressured, you may feel guilted or even confused. But take a breath, a deep one. Assess the situation and practice setting a boundary. Trust me, it gets easier, and the confidence boost is so worth it. You want that confidence boost. So, do you have a story about spotting and shutting down manipulation? I would love to hear about it. Put it in the comments. So here's to owning your boundaries and to keeping your cool. And if you found this content valuable, please consider sharing, please consider subscribing, and we will see you on the next video.